Well, new reaction now to last night's GOP presidential debate, not from political analysts or presidential contenders, but from the most important group, American voters. Joining me now on America's take on how well the candidates did last night, putting forward their economic plans, is a panel of potential voters who watched last night's debate. All right, welcome all. It's a pleasure to have you here in the studio. Dee Dee, let me start with you, because one of the moments that we saw last night that got all the attention today was Rick Perry stumbling when he tried to name the 3 departments that he would eliminate. I want to get your reaction to this moment from Rick Perry.
It's 3 agencies of government when I get there that are gone. Commerce, education, and the, what's the third one there? Let's see.
You need 5.
Oh, 5, okay. So commerce, education, and the
EPA?
EPA, there you go. No, okay.
Let's talk deposition.
Seriously? Is EPA the one you were talking about? Or?
No, sir. No, sir. We were talking about the agencies of government. The EPA needs to be rebuilt. There's no doubt about that.
But you can't name the third one?
The third agency of government,
yeah.
I would do away with the education, the commerce, and let's see. I can't. The third one I can't. Sorry. Oops.
Painful to watch. What was your reaction?
I think it's, as a student of history, the worst incident in a presidential debate.
Do you really think so?
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of people have said that.
Well, because think about it. I mean, who was worse? I mean, Nixon was sweaty, and of course, Dan Quayle tried to compare himself to Kennedy. But really, there's no one that has had a worse situation or a longer one. It just was, what, 30 seconds? It just lasted forever.
Did anyone think it was no big deal?
Right here.
You did. Tell me. You're David Selig. You're a small business owner, advocate.
I thought he showed tremendous character, and he is sticking with it. He's got a great message. I think now...
You're a Perry supporter, aren't you? I remember that from last time.
And I think now that America is going to be watching him this next go-around, he's going to carry the wave all the way to the White House.
But who hasn't been there, right? I mean, haven't we all stood up publicly and just completely had a brain freeze where you're like, I have no idea who I am?
But he's done it so many times. That's the problem with him. It's accumulative. Yeah. It's accumulative because it's happening.
You think so as well? You're Lisa Spring-Steele. You're an author and you work in fashion.
Yes. Some things are just not recoverable. I don't think he can gain back the trust of the American people at this point.
Just because he stumbled. And I see you wanting to comment. You're Ben Geyer-Hahn. You are a senior communication strategist and policy consultant.
Yeah, I mean, he's known this debate. He's going to have this debate for some time. They should have prepared. He had maybe 7 minutes.
Maybe he over-prepared.
He couldn't have over-prepared. He had to know 3. He had a plan to eliminate 3 agencies, and he couldn't remember them. It's not exactly a 10. It's not a 10-item list. It's 3 items.
So for those of you who are Republicans, because here Ben is a Democrat, but for those of you who are Republicans, was this a deal breaker? Raise your hand if yes, for you and Rick Perry. Wow. Wow.
These people were not Perry supporters in the first place.
You were?
Against them.
And you're Aaron Marcus, you're a college student. You blogged about the debate last night. What did you think?
I believe that, I mean, just imagine Rick Perry on a stage with Barack Obama. Obama would wipe the floor with him. And I was a Perry supporter initially. And, I mean, just his continuous flubs, his continuous gaffes, he has, I mean, it's a shame because I do believe he policy-wise, he is a good candidate, but just you put him on a stage with Obama and you're going to have a travesty for the Republican Party.
You want somebody who can go toe-to-toe. Now, do you believe that someone is, and I'll come back to you after the clip, Mitt Romney, because there was quite a contrast, as there has been in a few debates, of the ability to handle questions and how smooth the candidates were in answering the questions. And here's just a sampling from Governor Romney last night.
Governor Romney, respond in 30 seconds. Not one of your 59 points in your economic plan mentions or addresses housing. Can you tell us why?
Yeah, because it's not a housing plan, it's a jobs plan. And the right way to get... The best thing you can do for housing is to get the economy going.
Could he be any smoother? I mean, you tell me, whether you support him or not, could he be any smoother?
I think he's very smooth, but I think when it comes down to substance, I believe that last night their other contenders missed an opportunity to attack Romney on 3 key issues. And the first one is that, he supported Obama's stimulus package before it was even passed. He supported, I mean, his Romney Care is, what has molded Obamacare. And then as governor of Massachusetts, he passed $300 million in fees to fill a $3 billion shortfall.
So you don't care whether he's smooth. You don't like his policy. It looks like you want to jump in. Matt Nordstrom, you're a financial analyst, and you're a libertarian. Absolutely.
I'm a libertarian. I'm a huge Romney supporter. I really feel like he's had the most experience with crossing aisles and getting policies and legislation passed. He comes from a state where the constituency is 85% Democrats. And, that's really tough to deal with if you're a Republican candidate. He did pass the Romney Care. However, he's dealing with a state that is, 85% Democrat. You have to have some sort of, concessions in order to pass legislation.
You're not going to get a lot done in a state like Massachusetts.
Absolutely.
Now, I want to shift because I have a couple more I want to get to. And the next one is about is an exchange Newt Gingrich had. Now, we've seen him do this in many debates. And last night, once again, he did not disappoint when it comes to going after the moderators.
Well, I just want to point out my colleagues have done a terrific job of answering an absurd question. To say in 30 seconds...
You have said you want to repeal Obamacare, correct?
Let me just finish, if I may.
30 seconds.
To say in 30 seconds what you would do with 18% of the economy, life and death for the American people, a topic I've worked on since 1974, about which I wrote a book called Saving Lives and Saving Money in 2002, and for which I founded the Center for Health Transformation, is the perfect case of why I'm going to challenge the president to 7 Lincoln Douglas-style 3-hour debates with a timekeeper and no moderator, at least 2 of which ought to be on health care, so you could have a serious discussion over a several-hour period that affects the lives of every person in this country.
Would you like to try to explain?
And she wound up, Bernard Whitman, you're a former Clinton pollster and a guest of the program, she wound up saying, okay, take the time you need, and he said, well, then everybody up here is going to yell at me. Is this tactic working for Newt Gingrich?
Megan, I don't think it is. What I think this entire debate underscores is the emerging theme of the GOP primary, and that is these individuals are simply not serious. Why do I say that? Gingrich had a chance to talk about health care. He just talked about himself. Governor Perry's entire basis for his campaign is to eliminate government waste. He can't name the agencies that he wants to eliminate. Herman Cain, clearly not running for president. He's running to sell books. He's running to raise his speaking fees before his campaign got sidetracked by being a serial sexual harasser. And Mitt Romney's response to being a serial flip-flopper is that he's been married to the same woman for 42 years. He's not running for husband-in-chief. He's running for the President of the United States. These people are simply not serious.
I'm going to get to Herman Cain last night in a segment. Stephanie Hauser, I want to talk to you. You're a Democratic National Committee woman for the Young Democrats of America. What did you think about these candidates last night? What do you think about Newt Gingrich, who's rising in the polls in part, perhaps, because of performances like that?
Well, Newt Gingrich definitely adds a level to the conversation in these debates. I mean, his resume shows that he has experience on many of these issues, something that some of the other Republicans in the field don't.
As a Democrat, do you worry about him debating Barack Obama?
Well, I'd prefer Rick Perry, of course, because I think that'll go a lot better. But, the real issue is I don't think any of these candidates are good for young Americans. I don't think any of them last night pointed out anything that they were going to do to put young people back to work.
All right. And I want to get to the Herman Cain moment, because obviously he was asked about the allegations that have come out, and look what happened with the audience when he was.
Mr. Cain, the American people want jobs, but they also want leadership. They want character in a president. In recent days, we have learned that 4 different women have accused you of inappropriate behavior. Here we're focusing on character and on judgment. You've been a CEO.
Yes.
You know that shareholders are reluctant to hire a CEO where there are character issues. Why should the American people hire a president if they feel there are character issues?
The American people deserve better than someone being tried in the court of public opinion based on unfounded accusations. That's what that's about.
Nora Burton, your thoughts, you're a Democrat, your thoughts to in response to that crowd booing the question.
Well, I think that Cain is hanging himself daily. I don't think that he's a strong candidate. Definitely not.
You don't think he handled that well?
No, I don't.
Why not?
Because he didn't answer the question, and he is settling some of the lawsuits that are against him.
Well, what the NRA did years ago. Let me ask you this, because Cain's been dealing with this a lot. Obviously, the Democrats, people who don't like Cain like this story, right? I mean, that's just politics. People who do like Cain, people who are on the stage who are Republicans, what do you think? Do you think that Republicans care about the story, and do you think that Kaine still has a chance?
I think the media is handled this very unfairly, and these moderators were nothing moderate at all about them. I mean, we were missing Megyn Kelly at the time for this debate because all they were was a political hit team. All they wanted to do was torpedo these Republicans, and I thought they were terrible, I have to say. So, we missed Fox and we missed Megyn Kelly at the time.
Well, I do my best to do a fair and balanced presentation, so thank you for the plug.
He's very likable, and I think he's handled it the best way he can. I mean, these allegations, and they keep coming and they're piling on, and the American public, they just don't like it. They're tired of it.
Megyn, when there's smoke, there's fire. We saw this at Penn State, and he talks about not wanting to be judged by the court of public opinion.
Now you're out on a limb.
He does not want to be judged by the court of public opinion. What is a presidential race? That is where he will be judged, and I think the public will ultimately offer a referendum on that.
All right, guys, I got to leave it at that, but thank you all so much. I appreciate you being here. All the best. Well, he proudly